Welcome back to the Businesses War Podcast. My name is Elliot Foreman, and today we have District E's candidate, Cyndi Nguyen. Not only is she the front runner, in my opinion, she probably is the best candidate for the job, but we're going to dig into that. We're going to dive in deep. Here on the Businesses War Podcast, we speak about everything related to business, not just politics, but what's really happening. What's going on with job layoffs? What's going on in the medical process? What's going on with government? What's going on with the economy just doing strange and erratic things? How much can you do to help your business and yourself survive? Well, today our guest is none other than Cyndi Nguyen, and we're going to speak to her, and we're going to dig into what's actually happening out in New Orleans East. So welcome to the show.
Thank you, Elliot, for having me.
The pleasure is mine. Cyndi, I am a New Orleans native, and this city means everything to me. I want to see it thrive. I want to see it grow. In my humble opinion, I feel like we have had some mismanagement. There has been some misappropriation of time, effort, and energy. I don't want to say funds because I can't say that for sure. Yeah. But with the large deficit coming into a new administration, my question to you is, what can we do to get this city back on track, and particularly your area as well as the whole city?
You know, there's several things that we should be doing. And I think first thing is that we got to be transparent.
Yes.
Right? We got to be accountable. And we got to make sure that we are not treating the city check account like an open check account.
Hey.
Right? Right? And we got to be very mindful of what we're spending. You know, so I think there's several things. And it reminds me of the time when I was in office. I served from 2018 to 2022, and I did the very basic stuff. So my background is in social work. I have a bachelor in social work and a master in management, but I've managed nonprofit organization, and how I manage my nonprofit and my household bills, very similar to how I managed the city budget when I was on the city council.
Well, let me ask you a question. How do you spend more money than you have?
Yeah, well, you can't.
It's actually impossible, right?
Yeah, it's literally impossible, and I think that's what happened. We put ourselves at risk, and I know for a fact that the cities also had several interruptions that was not expected, right?
Like, what is it? What would you consider an interruption for the city?
Like the attack, the French Quarter attack, that bomb attack. So that caused the city more resources to take care of that, and then the storm, the snow week we had.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are interruptions.
Well, let's talk about that. Let me, as a business owner, ask the question: if the terrorist attack, let's call it what it was, on our city, shut a portion of the city down for a little while, well, wouldn't those services not have been rendered, and would that not have been able to kind of offset itself? So not profiting revenue-wise and not spending kind of go hand in hand.
Correct. So I don't think we were mindful of that we should have said, okay, we know we just had an attack. Let's look at our budget. What did we project for? And then let's try to stay within, but still want to provide public safety for the community, right?
Well, I got to ask again. I'm pushing back.
Yeah.
If we have the police officers already on staff and the state sends down troopers, then what are we spending money on personnel that we already have? I'm just asking.
No, I think when we send trooper down, I believe the city's also paying for it.
That's really wonderful.
Yeah. So
hey, thank you, state of Louisiana, for sending us people that's already working.
It is my understanding that we have that shared cost as well. So I wasn't in council during that time, so I don't know how, what invoices was billed to the city of New Orleans. But when we have major interruption like that, it does put the city back a little bit. But as a member on the budget committee, we were tracking those type of issues, right? To make sure, like, okay, if this department is required to spend more because of what just happened, then we need to cut somewhere else, right? Yeah.
That's a fair answer. And I didn't really understand it. And I don't think most people understand that everything has a cost and the city has to pay the bill.
That's right. Like the Hot Rock collapse.
Okay.
Right? We spend months on that project, cleaning up the area. The city had to put up the money to clean that area up for public safety.
Very unfortunate.
Very unfortunate.
And that is what you call a catastrophe.
Yeah.
And that incurs a cost.
Correct. And then you also had, like, we projected, from what I was told, that we were going to make so much money from the Super Bowl, so much money from the Taylor Swift.
That didn't happen, did it?
Did not happen.
So that makes me wonder, if the city is open for business, how is the city's business happening? I mean, are we profiting, or are we just getting by?
Yeah, I think this is an opportunity for us to really look at what we have been paying and look at and do a check and balance. And if the city's not profiting on it, why are we still doing it?
That's kind of business 101. So
Yeah,
that makes me
exactly.
wonder, does the new administration have a good business IQ? That means that they can actually open the checkbook and say, okay, this is the value by which I'm willing to pay. And I'll tell you something, based on this economy outside of the U.S. and outside of the Louisiana, New Orleans area, people will do things at a better rate, at a discount, because opportunity is not prevalent like it used to be.
Right. Yeah. So I think just paying attention to the mayor-elect transition team, it looks like, I see Michael Heck is on the transition team. He's leading GNO, and he's always been really a true business mind thinker. So just the player that she has on the transition team, I believe that we do have some hope.
Well, I have to be hopeful because
Yep.
I'm here. I'm financially committed. I'm emotionally invested in my city. It's my place I call home. I could live anywhere in the U.S., but I'm back here. This is my roots. I was born in Charity Hospital, which is an unfortunate reality because it was such a very centerpiece for medicine in the city of New Orleans for decades, and now it's a blighted property.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
No, it's terrible that it's been sitting for 20 years now. And again, that is a very valuable piece of property. It should have been back into commerce umpteen years ago. And I think that's an opportunity for District E, the East and the Lower Nine area, the area that I am, wanting to get back. We started a lot of the work because, as you know, business comes into an area when they see that this community is thriving, right? And for 13 years after Katrina, the area was slated with blighted commercial properties. And the first thing I did, Elliot, was like, okay, let's clean up this commercial blighted property. So in that way, you as a potential business investor, it's like, hey, I like this area because I see it's thriving. And that's why we started working on, like the high rise, the old Holiday Inn by the high rise.
Yeah.
We got that back into commerce like the first term that I was in as a freshman council member.
Yeah.
Because I understand what it takes to bring business in.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that. So District E is your playground. That's where you're going to operate and paint a masterpiece for the resurgence of New Orleans East. Is that correct?
Correct. That includes the East and the Lower Nine, Venetian Nile, Lake Catherine, and Fort Pike. The largest district in the city of New Orleans. Okay,
so listen, how can we make the East profitable? What's necessary, what's needed? Because at the end of the day, if you can't rely on the city of New Orleans, even though the East is New Orleans, I just don't understand how the economy works out there. Because for me, I'd go buy me some fish and start frying it and sell it, but I'd get a permit first. Okay? So I just have to ask the question, how can the East become more financially sustainable?
Yeah, I think so. There's disposable income in the East. We're the largest, very well-populated area in the East. I think we have some of the component. We need a business that's willing to invest into our community. And so how do you get them to invest into our community?
I know exactly how, because there is a city in Texas, I believe it's Dallas. I feel like they gave away everything in the CBD to get the investment from other fortune companies to come in and gave the space away.
Yeah.
Shreveport's kind of doing some of the same things up there by giving away some real estate.
Yeah.
And why doesn't Meta put a farm out there? Why doesn't Toyota put a plant out there?
Yeah.
And that's what you need. You need innovation, you need opportunity. But I got to tell you something, you're going to have to carrot and stick. You're going to have to give some stuff away.
Correct. And that's my thinking now is how do you incentivize business to come into the area, right? And so I'll be looking at, many different incentive programs that we could offer our, potential business owners. Hey, bring your company here. We can offset your property taxes, freeze your property taxes for so many years until you grow your business. So I think there's many creative ways that we could do it. We just haven't done it. I think being out of office for 4 years, it allows me to really reflect, right, and learn, listen, research what other cities are doing, and I'm ready. I'm like refreshed, ready, and hit the ground running because my thing is that we got to do this right in the next 4 years.
I agree, because it feels like we keep kicking that can of urgency down the road. And my question is is now really the do or die moment?
It is. The can was kicked for 13 years until I got the can. By the time I got the can, we started working on just getting things back into commerce. And as you know, when an area sits for so long and other areas are booming, it becomes more challenging, right? To compete with them. And I think that's why it was so critical that we worked hard to kind of address those commercial blighted property. And then unfortunately, I was not, voted back in. And then the can started stay there and nothing happened. And so that's one reason why I decided to run again. Listen, politics is not my game. Serving the community, serving the public, creating thriving communities is what I enjoy doing every single day. And that's what I'll be doing to make sure that we are bringing true companies in that are creating careers. Right? It's no longer jobs, it's creating careers. Careers more sustainable. Jobs is like a hustle job. I want to create careers for the people in the district. So that way they can take care of their family.
I think that's important. And I think that America is doing some weird stuff. AI is coming for everything. And so I don't know if I'm in love with it or if I don't like it. I feel like it is inevitable. It's faster. It's nicer. It's more friendly. It can show up on time all the time. To err is human. It doesn't have to deal with traffic. Doesn't have a dog that needs to go outside. Doesn't have kids. And so I understand why businesses have taken the AI appreciation tour. But I do not understand how a government would allow the robot to replace its most valuable commodity, which is the voting people. And when you have young men that can't get jobs, young women that are graduating with jobs and in debt because of it, I'm wondering, what are we going to look like in 10 years if AI is doing everything and we're laying off people? Wendy's is closing 300 or 400 stores. I grew up on Wendy's. I wanted the Frosty. I was a kid that loved the little Dave stack or whatever, the single stack. And so if I see a company, a quintessential fast food establishment like Wendy's that's going not necessarily out of business, but downsizing, because, we're not eating as much. We're not pumping as much gas. The economy is shrinking.
Well, because the cost of living has gone up and income hasn't gone up.
Well, listen, we're inflated. There's a lot of inflation inside of the U.S. economy right now. The East is gonna have some challenges because the income is not out there. Now, my question to you is innovation. Do you have any ideas around innovation in District E? Yeah.
So we have. I don't know if you've been out to the New Orleans Regional Business Park, which is where NASA's at. Right. So, and I believe that's going to be one of our innovation hub. It's a vacant land, open land. And I've been working with many groups like in Miami and kind of learning what they're doing over there. Miami is booming really well.
Wow.
Yeah. And how do we incorporate that in New Orleans? So innovation around, logistic jobs are coming out really strong. Arts. It's also a very areas that are booming really well. And technology, we do have NASA right there, so kind of feed into NASA in a way. So so I think that area it's an area that I'll be looking at, and I actually been working at it for the past 4 years since I've been out, and just seeing how can we bring in manufacturer company as well, because that area has a lot of incentive programs that are already been embedded in there already.
Question for you. Who's the largest landowner of the East?
Very good question. I want to say the late Wade Burgess.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to say the late Wade. I know his daughter is managing his portfolio now.
Well, they got to manage it and do something with it. And remember, I said it, because at the end of the day, if it's growing trees and nothing else, then that's not serving nobody any good.
That's right.
Unless you're a freaking water park, it's not doing anybody any good. If I had it, I'd be cutting the grass and trying to put a for sale sign up on it and asking somebody to come in on some sort of a joint venture so we can put some warehouses out there. Because you got the space for it. We have got to commerce it. We got to put it back into play.
Yeah. And I think many landowners has kind of been hanging on to their property because they believe that something is going to happen. Listen, I tell them, I say, it is you.
Yeah.
If you do something big will happen.
That's right.
Right? So don't wait for anybody. You work on your piece of property.
Dear landowner in the East, if I had the property, I would tree it out. I prepare it for something.
Correct.
Get you some do something.
Yep.
You know,
but don't hang on to it.
Don't hang on to it because that's a gambler spirit where you're just sitting up there waiting on something.
And
waiting to hit the lottery. That's what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, and but the thing is that, as a landowner, you need to think about the community that you own the land in.
That's the point of real estate.
Yeah.
I actually wrote about that in my book, Business is War. Go get your copy right now. I wrote about the fact that I have yet to understand why people in real estate get the property and don't do anything with it. I just don't understand that. What's the point?
Yeah.
Oh, we just want a tax write-off. Yeah, really? Man, anyway.
Yeah.
So what about the East? Give me the statistics, meaning how many people do you have in the East? How many restaurants do you have in the East? Do you have adequate facilities for medicine and all the other things, infrastructure? You feel good about it?
So we have like around 80 to 86,000 residents in the East, give or take. We definitely have a growing number of emergent small business coming up, restaurants. Mm-hmm. We have the New Orleans East Hospital out there, but still working to develop the hospital.
How many beds in that hospital?
You know what? I'm not clear because I want to say about, don't quote me.
Okay.
25 beds.
Mm-hmm.
Not,
that's a cool emergency facility hospital.
But they also have like different type of practice in there as well. And so that area, we do have like the medical district right there. So still trying to grow that area out. But still more, we have rooms for growth, mm-hmm. And so for those that are listening or tuning in, if you're looking to start up a business or you're looking to move your company, the East is the place. We would definitely work with you on it and find you land there. And we have access to all three modes of transportation: water, air, and highway, right?
Yeah.
And so for those that are in logistic type of business, warehouse, we're the place for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Give me the crime stats. Tell me about crime in the East. Is it still an eyesore or has it hadn't got better?
Listen, thanks to our law enforcement agency, men and women in blues, they have been doing their part, as well as the community, right? Because it's a joint partnership. Our crime stat has gone down. It is safe. I've never felt like it was unsafe in the East ever before.
Yeah, that's negative marketing. That has actually done damage to the area.
Correct.
And there's no real truth to it.
No, there's no truth to it. And listen, I thought about that, but then during Mardi Gras season, right? So Don'tful hosts the David Beer Award, right? But you see people galore coming into the East, getting their famous king cake. Mm-hmm. So I just feel like it's just the naysayer, right? Don't want the East to come back stronger than before. And I think that's where, we owe to ourselves to make sure that we're united mm-hmm. and then continue to stay positive, continue to do things that's going to bring our community together and thriving. And, and they will get it. They're going to come when we have all the popular things that are out in the East. They're going to come just like they're coming for the king cake. I don't see them complaining about it.
Hey, I'm not mad with you. Okay, so crime is down. Mm-hmm. We're just working on infrastructure. We're working on investment. Business. How is business in the East right now?
Yeah, I think business is doing well. I mean, of course, as a business owners would love to do better, right? But I always try to patronize businesses in my area to really support them. But I think again, there's opportunity to grow. And we want to continue to support existing business in our community as well.
Okay. I think that's so important that, we're doing more. So how can we, start celebrating and having a little bit more economy out there? Does the government have a responsibility to make a particular area thrive? And by government, I mean city government.
Yeah.
Does that burden fall on you or is that on innovation?
I think it's on innovation, but I take it as my responsibility as a council member. To make sure that I play my role and as well as to bring in resources to really allow the community to thrive and to bring in business.
I'm not mad with you.
Listen, if somebody says, Cyndi, Amazon wants to come in here, I'd be like, when? Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's do it today.
Somebody got to move. We got to do something.
Yeah. So LA for me is being out for 4 years and seeing how the district kind of been on pause. My attitude is, I'm going to work like tomorrow's not promised.
Gotcha.
Right? That's how hard I'm going to work every day for the people in District E.
Let me ask you a question. Is there any truth to the Bally's Casino coming back? Or is that just a conversation?
I didn't even know there was a conversation.
I'll take that as a no.
Yeah.
I feel like that area, there could be something there, you know?
Yeah, there is. So Henry Coaxum actually bought the restaurant, the reception hall back down by where Bally used to be at. And he's, turned it into like a open space where you could come eat and listen to music. Mm-hmm. And I was at his place maybe about a month and a half ago. And I asked Henry, I was like, hey, can you envision a pier? We could build a pier from where you're at all the way to Lincoln Beach.
That wouldn't be bad.
I think it would be really great. When you think about it.
How far is that?
So we're talking about probably less than a mile.
Okay.
On water. I thought about that because we're working on Lincoln Beach, and so if there's only one entrance to Lincoln Beach, so that means the traffic's gonna be on one end. You want to balance it out so that way you don't have neighbors being upset because there's so many cars in the area.
The neighbors have to hear me out. New Orleans East neighbors of Lincoln Beach, you want it in commerce, you want it back now. You're going to have to deal with traffic. Please accept it. You are living next to a destination, and that's just what it is. Correct. And so I don't want the angry old neighbor who doesn't want anybody on their block. Yeah. We got to get rid of that. We got to talk to that person right now.
I agree with you, but then you could also balance it out by maybe, like I say, if we have a pier that is connected from the Old Valley, and people can walk to Lincoln Beach that way. So we could also repopulate that area where the lakefront is at. Mm-hmm. So we could actually bring in more commerce as well. Okay,
give me the game on Lincoln Beach. Tell me the history of it and where it's at now.
Yeah, so of course, we all know that Lincoln Beach was a historic landmark where many Black used to go there. And then it became when the white went to Pontchartrain and Black went to Lincoln Beach. It's been closed for decades. Okay. Because of the lack of investment. And so I've actually learned about Lincoln Beach when I was campaigning in Elliott, and I campaigned among many of our Black senior citizens. And they told me about Lincoln Beach, and they were like, Cyndi, I used to play when I was young out there. And so I told them, I said, well, I don't know where this place is at, but I'm gonna check it out. And if it's worth it, I'm gonna work on it. And I did, I went out there one afternoon, climbed the levee, went out there, and I was just like, this is beautiful out here. Wow. I guess I gotta go take my trip too. Yeah, you haven't been out there?
I have never seen it. I do know of it, have heard of it a lot, but the reality is, I got a dumb question. How much money does it take to open a beach?
Yeah. Well, because I put in $5 million, and I think the congressman put in like $12 million. We wanted to. It's not just about opening the beach, but in the day, they used to go to the beach through a tunnel. Okay. And I found that to be very unhuman. Like, I don't want our people to go to a beach, go through a tunnel.
Well, let's see. You said 5 and 12. What'd you say?
Yeah, 5 and 12. Yeah,
that's 17.
17 million.
Okay, for $17 million, I can build you an airplane that'll bring everybody to the beach on a daily basis. So what in the world happened to $17 million?
No, we're actually we designed a bridge. Okay. So that way people can cross. So right now people got to cross over Haynes Boulevard, which is a very people speed and everything. So the money was invested to clean up the beach, because in the day they used to have a swimming pool built on the beach. I know, crazy. Yeah, there's a swimming pool that is actually, so it was damaged. There was pavilion out there. They used to have rides out there on the beach, so that we needed to allocate the money to clean it up. Okay. Kill a lot of there's a lot of friendly animals out there, alligators. Okay. So we had to treat that, and then it also include building a bridge, so that way people with disability can be able to get to the beach.
I think that's it. Yeah. I think that's one of the things that you can do in your administration to absolutely turn the corner right now for the East. There is no reason why Lincoln Beach can't be open in 24 months.
That's right.
Cyndi, I'm a businessman.
Yeah.
And when you said the word M, I know that for millions of dollars, you can get stuff done.
Correct.
So listen, I don't want
We wasted so much time.
That's what I'm trying to tell you, because now I'm frustrated, because I'm like, okay, well, this means that city government is just dysfunctional, because for $12 million, I would get rid of all the alligators and all the algae, and I'd build you something. I don't know if I can get a bridge done, but we get the doors open.
Yeah, we got to build the bridge and make sure that people have decent access to Lincoln Beach.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, do you need a bridge, or can you just use an access road?
Well, because it's a highway, so I was told that you need a bridge, so that way you could cross over it. But yeah, I think you need a bridge.
Okay.
Cross over.
All right. Well, I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah.
I'll keep that in mind. But the reality is, I think that's a great opportunity for you to put a signature stamp on the reintroduction of Lincoln Beach, so to speak. I'm looking for you to get that done.
No. That is definitely one of my commitment coming back, is to get Lincoln Beach done.
Okay.
It was a promise I made to the people, and I want to deliver it.
Okay. I would like to see it happen, because, I mean, we need something to celebrate.
Yep.
And by that, I mean people. I mean, because City Park is full of people walking. And they got the little rides, and they have the museum, and they got little economic opportunities. And Crescent City finishes its race there.
Yep.
There are so many little things like that, and that's the benefit of having an attraction.
Correct.
It just works together.
Yeah.
And you could throw you a New Orleans East Festival, whatever that is, whatever that looks like. Question for you: what's the relationship with Slidell like to New Orleans East?
I don't know if we have a relation. So.
Is that the closest city next to you?
Yeah.
You see my point?
Correct.
Because people drive right through the east and go to Slidell and live in another city that's not New Orleans, and they make the commute.
And like my girls live in Slidell. Yeah, and when they were shopping for a house, they're saying, "Mom, we want to be in Slidell."
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends that have left the area, have moved to Slidell.
Yeah. Because they had real estate.
Correct. Yeah, and then that's the thing. I think many times we want something, but we keep doing the same thing over and over, and we haven't gotten it. Then why would we keep doing it the same way?
Fresh set of eyes.
And that's the thing. I guess it's so frustrating. It's like, when I was in office, and I tell them, I said, listen, change doesn't happen overnight. But in order for people to get excited about investing into our community, we got to be excited as well. We got to clean up, our mess. We got to address a lot of these commercial blighted property. And I did that, and then the years that I was in office, COVID-19 happened.
Man, I got to tell you something. COVID-19 did a really big, bad job on a lot of things as far as business goes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it
hurts a lot of people.
And there are people who still haven't recovered from it.
I believe it.
And how many businesses did we actually lose? How many mom and pops that were 2 months from bankruptcy that would have stayed open all this time had they not have lost that? Didn't have their paperwork together.
Correct.
Couldn't get a government check, no FEMA check, wasn't none coming. And so I know, because businesses were, to me, I watch businesses go out of business all the time. It happens on a regular basis. It is not easy to put your flag in the ground and tell the community that you're here and you're open for business, for them to not support you, for them to support you, and vice versa, back and forth.
Yeah.
COVID-19 happens. Not very many people can make the adjustment of being able to figure out a way to pivot and stay open, go to a drive-through window, whatever the case might be. And so I feel like we lost a lot of economic momentum with COVID.
Yeah, a couple of things to learn from COVID. And that's one reason why I wanted to launch the District E think tank, to really have that support system for a lot of our small emerging business, and making sure that they are prepared and set up and be able to handle any disaster that hits them, right? During COVID-19, we got an opportunity to work with this group called Central Kitchen.
Okay.
And so basically they provide meals that we would provide to our people, make sure everybody get access to healthy food. And so I went to them, I said, hey, I love this partnership, but the food that you guys prepare, our people don't eat.
Okay.
Can you work with our small business owners, our restaurants, our local restaurants, and give them that opportunity instead of you guys funding this group, fund them? For me, it was to win.
Did that work?
It worked.
Good job.
It worked. We worked with about 10 local restaurants in New Orleans and kept them busy.
Hey, I like it.
And that's...
But guess what, though? That's the partnership that government should have to free enterprise. I completely agree with that. And that's when it can work. And in those instances, I mean, like, that's the big brother, the little brother, the relationship is symbiotic. That's I can appreciate that. But you got to hear me. Let me ask about the think tank. Tell me what's the idea for that. Give me the big picture on that.
So the think tank is a couple of things to help those that are in business to continue to stay in business. Because I believe that the big boxes is in my district.
Okay.
Right? One day they will be big boxes, right? But we got to help them.
Okay.
All right. So the second thing is, how do I identify new small business owners that be willing or to invest into what the people in District E needs?
Okay.
To kind of fill that gap, right? And provide that support system. So those are the two things. And then having access to technical assistance, having a mentor to kind of help with their business.
Yes.
Right? Understand how to run a business.
That's right.
And then making sure like their business plan makes sense.
Okay.
That they're planning out for the future. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. You said you had a social worker background. Mm-hmm. How long do you have to go to school to become a licensed clinical social worker?
Too long.
Give me an example.
I don't know. That's why I didn't get my master.
Okay, check this out. You ready?
Yeah.
How long does it take you to start a business right now?
What?
0 minutes and $75.
I was going to say, all you do is just file a
That's
corporation.
It. And now you're ready to go. The reason I say that is because that's one of the reasons that the failure rate in business is so fast and high is because the requirements aren't that much. You can literally just stick your flag in the ground and start. Now, I don't have a problem with that because in order to win, you do have to start.
That's right.
But the level of proficiency, the struggles with customer service, the struggles with human resources, the mortality rate of your business is all predicated on your craftsmanship. And you have to have a level of skill.
Correct.
That's why I'm such a fan of the foreigners who have these family businesses that they pass the masterfulness down the generation. And that happens a lot. And so I'm a big fan of that think tank you're talking about.
Yes.
I want to see about, how I can help you with that because I would love to come and just have a couple of classes on taxes, customer service. Because you know what? A lot of people open a restaurant and don't even have a customer service class. I was like, we got to do something, right?
Right.
And so that's necessary to just continue to sharpen your saw.
That's right.
When you're an attorney, you have to have continuing education. When you're a pharmacist, you have to go to annual continuing education, CEs, and you got to keep recertifying. Well, business owners don't have to recertify anything but their little LLC.
Yeah.
And so that think tank you're talking about is exactly what the doctor ordered, and I want that to work.
And like I said, the think tank was developed for many reasons, but mainly to make sure like it's a support system for our small business owners. And like I said, I truly believe that one of the business in District E is going to be a big box.
Okay.
One day. We just got to help them.
Yeah.
And many of them don't feel like they have the support system, in the community. But then we also got to make sure that the community is supporting them as well. You can't expect them to invest and open up a storefront and we don't support them.
You need gyms, coffee shops, sandwich shops. You need
retail,
restaurant. You need it all.
Yep.
And I appreciate you saying that, you're economically going to try to drive as much as you can, but it takes innovation and innovators.
Correct.
And I think that the collection between the two, the government and the free enterprise, I think that you can get something done. I'm pulling for the East. I want it to be successful. What would be the biggest need that you would want to happen under your new administration?
I think for me is Lincoln Beach, to make that happen, break ground on the Bayou Phoenix with Alvin Ross Studio. I think those two projects would jumpstart, right? Get the other blighted commercial property excited. Yeah. So I think those two would really help start it. You can't forget about the Low 9 because the Low 9 is also in my district as well.
But that's kind of a niche living, because it's over the canal. You talking about the Lower 9 as in over the canal?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's
across the canal.
Yeah, that's kind of niche. It's kind of like a certain type of person. It's almost Treme-ish kind of. It's kind of a lower Treme, and by that I mean it's kind of like a little bit of a cool live versus a suburban live. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So they're kind of like stuck in the middle between Chalmette and Marigny, right? but there's definitely a lot of potential there. You know, we definitely want to repopulate the area. I think that's one of the key thing is to repopulate the area. They've lost population since Katrina.
How bad?
Yeah, I think they're down to now like 6,000 residents.
What were they pre-Katrina?
At 20,000.
That's more than half.
Yeah, exactly. So the strategy is to repopulate, and so we're looking at just building more homes over there, playground over there. That's what when you look at a community, that's what it comes with, and then make sure that the school is reopened with a really strong provider for the kids. And then I also believe that it's an opportunity for like a magazine street type in the Low 9 area. So you got like Fast Domino. Yeah. It could be a street of like kind of envision like Ferret Streets and Magazine Street. But we got to repopulate the area.
Okay. Well, listen, I think that's going to cause a little bit of a concern. I'm going to tell you why. Because we know that people are not just having kids like they used to. And families and marriages are a little bit on a down tick as far as the numbers go. So how does a person in government in your position take and look at the underpopulated areas and think that we just need to repopulate it? So if you know that the average 30-year-old woman today hasn't had a kid, 25 years ago, that's not the truth. That's right. And so that particular data means that maybe you got to govern different because the population is different.
Yeah, very good point. But we're seeing family moving to New Orleans. We're seeing that. And we've also seen that it's not like different people are coming. And even like since I've been out for 4 years, I've seen new families in the Low 9. Yeah, and so which is very, very promising, very exciting to see. But we're also building our homes to where even with a couple that, so we're building like the modern way of doubles so you could then use the other side for income, right? And so, so not every homes are built the same way and designed differently and to attract different type of individuals to the area as well.
I'll bet. So listen, have we had any ability to utilize the waterway in any of your districts to kind of be some sort of a driver? Like, I don't know whether it be a peer issue or whether it be some kind of an import-export opportunity. I mean, like, who controls that type of stuff? Is that Army Corps type stuff?
That's the Port of New Orleans.
Port of New Orleans.
Yeah. I know that in the Lower 9, they've been fighting against the lock project, which is they want to expand the canal, which is going to basically shut down the Lower 9 for years. And so I know that's an economic engine, but we're looking at a community that's been there for decades. And if this project goes through, then people in the Low 9 would not have access to the city of New Orleans. So it's very painful when and sometimes I love economic development, but I also got to look at communities. So how do you still have strong economic development projects, but then keep a community intact?
Well, listen, that's the decision in leadership. Stay where you are, deal with the inevitable, or force a change that has a beneficial outcome, but a bad immediate impact. I think that's why I never wanted leadership position in that capacity, because I don't want to have to impact somebody's life. Let me give you an example. You have an older lady who might lose access to the city, so to speak. Right. And, in the 7 years that it might take to finish the project, she might never get it back in her lifetime. But I don't know. Do we plant trees for now or later?
Yeah. But I think particularly that project, there's other ways that they can do it. They just want that way. They just want the easy way. And so we just got to keep forcing them to make sure like it doesn't happen. Like I say, it's been on the books for like almost 50 years now that the government been trying to push for that.
Listen, and I wonder if they have funding already set aside. Yeah, okay, all right. Well, listen, tell me now the current state of the race and what's next.
Yeah. So we are in a runoff. So, of course, the runoff election is this coming Saturday, November the 15th. I was able to pull in 46% in the primary with 9 people in the race. So really excited. It definitely echoed the sense of, like, they really enjoyed the work that we did when I was in office. And I'm very grateful for those voters. We just want our voters, our supporters, to come back out again one more time. This is a final push. like I say, I am running because I want to see this community thrive. I'm not a politician. Far from it. I'm really a public servant, really want to make things right and really help community to kind of think through what we've been trying to fight for and make sense, right? And again, as I stated earlier, if we keep doing the same thing over and over, you're not going to get a different outcome.
That's true.
Right? And so, and in this position, you got to have a leader that's going to be willing to work hard. Working 40 hours a week is not going to cut it for this position.
I hear you.
Right? And then you got to think out of the box. You got to be willing to hear, listen. You got to be able to pull up your sleeve. You got to be able to put boots on the grounds when it's needed. In different neighborhoods that required that. And we did that when we were in office, all 4 years, responding to the needs of the community. And I'm just excited about this opportunity just to get back in. So ballot number 55.
Ballot number 55, Cyndi Nguyen. Do me a favor and look right there and tell my audience exactly why you are the candidate for the job, and let's get you in there on Saturday.
Well, again, I'm Cyndi Nguyen, candidate for the New Orleans City Council, ballot number 55. I've served you. I made promises to you 8 years ago in which I deliver. And this is an opportunity for us to get back and get District E back on track. I'm the right candidate because you guys know my record. I show up, I'm transparent, accountable, dedicated, and I operate with integrity. And so again, asking for your vote on November the 15th, number 55 on your ballot.
Well, there you have it. Cyndi Nguyen, candidate for District E. I wish her all the best. Thank you for joining us in the War Room. Yeah. I feel like we got an opportunity to talk about city politics, civic government, and all things considered for New Orleans. I want you all to give her a good look. Make sure that if you are a resident of the East and you want something, reach her. You know how to reach her. You tell her what you want. Let her know what it takes for you to get her vote. Call her. Stick a sign in the yard. Whatever you have to do. But most importantly, business is war. New Orleans, we love you as a city. We love you completely. Y'all have a good one and stay safe.